Red Bull turned an energy drink into one of the most watched content brands in Instagram. And the playbook they use has almost nothing to do with the product itself. And there is the whole well thought out strategy behind it. Hello everyone, my name is Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of HypeAuditor, the world-renowned AI-driven all-in-one influencer marketing platform. Today, I'm going to break down Red Bull's influencer strategy because I think they solved a problem that most brands are still struggling with. The problem is this: how do you stay interesting year after year without the content starting to feel like advertising? Red Bull has an answer for that. Let me start with the numbers because the scale here is worth sitting with for a second. So, according to HypeAuditor's internal data, in the last 12 months, Red Bull influencer activity on Instagram generated 2.86 billion impressions, over 108 million of likes, and nearly a million of comments. That came around from 10,600 influencers across roughly 19,000 posts. And their engagement rate is 7.95%. That's a strong number for any brand, but for one that operating in their volume is just remarkable. It tells you the audiences showing up for the Red Bull content are really there for it. This is the result of very specific choices they made about how they operate, and I want to go through those choices one by one. Number one, they built a media company, and the energy drink is just a part of the brand. If you spend 10 minutes on Red Bull's Instagram, on the pages of the athletes and teams they're working with, you'll notice something. The content is really worth watching. Extreme sport clips, F1 edits, BMX competition, drifting events, paddle, and their cons appear occasionally, but it's never the point of the content. What Red Bull understood earlier than most brands do is that people don't follow brands. They follow interesting things. They follow lifestyle. They follow personalities. So instead of building a brand account and hoping people would follow it, they build something people would actually want to watch and then put brand inside it. Number two, and listen carefully for this one, they go deep into subcultures instead of just sponsoring them. A lot of brands sponsor events. Red Bull co-creates them. They have content teams embedded inside sports communities. They run their own competitions. That's why you see names like Marc Marquez, Jeff Hamilton, and Neymar Jr. associated with them. These are deep partnerships where the athletes have been the part of the Red Bull identity for years, and their audiences know it and respect it. The difference between sponsoring a subculture and actually being part of one is that sponsorship ends, but the real presence doesn't. Red Bull has been in these communities so long that is enough that pulling them out would feel like something is already missing. Number three, their ecosystems generates content they didn't have to create. Because they've been so consistent about who they work with and how deeply they invest in those relationships, a huge portion of their content is essentially user-generated. Athletes repost event footage, fans create edits from Red Bull sponsored competitions, their content collectives produce materials that gets picked up and reposted all across social medias. So Red Bull doesn't have to produce everything. They set the things up in the way that the content finds them. Number four, and this is also really important, they show up every single month. Months after months, that brand keeps showing up in people's feeds from different creators, in different spots, in different formats. That repetition is what makes the brand feel unavoidable. And unavoidable is what eventually turns into the top of the mind. So, what other brands can take from these lessons? The honest answer is that not everything that Red Bull does is easy to replicate from scratch. Their position in extreme sports culture was built over decades. You can't shortcut that. But the underlying logic is worth understanding regardless of where you are. Pick one or two communities your brand generally belongs in. Find creators who are already living inside those communities, not just coloring them. Give them room for creation, for doing something with you. Red Bull content looks different across every creator because they doesn't force one kind of format. Once you understand where to start and which road to take, the tools you use will matter a lot. Because when you are running a program across the 1,000 creators on the multiple markets, tracking what's actually working and what's not by hand just isn't realistic. That's what HypeAuditor can solve for you. Find niche influencers in seconds, that influencers in the same dashboards, and always have the data points you need for your next decision. So let's wrap it up. What Red Bull figured out before almost anyone else is that people don't buy products, they buy lifestyles. The drink is almost beside the point. What they're really selling is the thrill, the culture, the identity of someone who lives at full speed. That's what their content communicates, and that's what makes people coming back. Most brands are still figuring out how to get there. Red Bull has been living there for years. I hope this one was useful for you. And if you want to see more videos about influencer marketing strategies and life hacks in the future, do not forget to put the thumbs up, subscribe button, and the ring bell to not miss the next video. Don't forget to share it with your marketing team. And if you want to see how other top brands are running their influencer marketing programs, stay tuned, because we are doing more of these breakdowns and also other very useful videos around influencer marketing tactics and strategies. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next one. Bye.